Yo, 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 it's your boy Van. We're just going to bring you guys up to speed here real quick. We've been tied up with some weather issues and some doctor's appointments and things like that. But we're coming along here, guys. As you can see, I've kind of brought everything up from the bushings, snap-in bushings that I showed you guys on the last video. Let's circle around here. There's the back doors and the opposite side of the van. So here's the foam board we had in here originally. I put another piece of foam board over top of that. So we're setting at, I believe this was 1/2 inch, and that's 3/4. So we're setting at about 1.25 inch foam in there. Also added another piece of let's call it foil on one side, foil on the other, and like a little foam in between. So just kind of laid that in there as well. Trying to protect against heat buildup inside the wall. We just want to protect those wires. I had a comment on the last video that foil on the foam, like we have here, is it conductive? And of course it's conductive. And the foam foil, little thin piece that I put in between there and the back of this wall, that is conductive as well. We're not making splices in the wall, however. So in theory, there shouldn't be any problems with doing such a thing. If something was like that to happen, the only way it could happen is if we melted the insulation on the wires. Pretty unlikely, considering we've put 2 pieces of foam in there and another piece of thin foil back with the little sliver of foam in between that as well. It's probably like not even 1/4 inch thick, but just put that in there so it's kind of backed up against, like the wall is on these coming from the top. So we've got those coming from the top. Everything here coming out the nipples is coming from the bottom. And we're going to get this all put on that board. Forget where I put that rascal, but looking for it. I think it might be sitting outside. But anyway, we're going to put us a board on here, as we said before, 2x2s and up here in these corners, so we can kind of fur this out. And then we'll put that other board, which will put all of these guys inside of another wall. So we're just kind of furring out a wall away from a wall. These are coming from the bottom. They'll be behind that other wall. And these will be in the wall itself, which these will as well, but just from a different route. Bring those in the back of the wall. We probably will make some splices back in there. Is it safe to splice anything not in a junction box? I'm going to say with 12 volts, it's definitely more acceptable. Even in the code book, it says things like below 50 volts. So it's kind of, communication rule. Anything below 50 volts, they splice that stuff up in drop ceilings and stuff like that, do little butt splices and stuff all the time. So this is 12 volts. It's not even 48 a person might go. Wiring your battery bank in series instead of parallel. You may want to up your system to 24 volts, 48 I've even seen. But this is just a 12 volt system, guys. So not too concerned about making splices within that wall. This stuff is non-conductive, so we gain a little bit more protection there with making the splices there. The only issue we would have is behind that wall if the insulation was to melt and maybe touch a piece of that foil in there. With a screw even running through it, the van itself is grounded, so the foil will probably have some kind of ground anyway, that just laying up against the natural part of the van. And with some screws back in there, everything's going to kind of join together and will be bonded to a ground. So if it was to melt, odds are, that being conductive, it's going to trip a fuse immediately if it was to melt in there. But I don't think we're going to have those issues. We've also used wire loom. I showed you guys on the last video. It's just like a plastic type of stuff that you can loop your wires through. I left this one out here just to kind of show you guys. I think we may have shown that on the last video. So through the bushings and up into the wall, we have wire loom protecting things up to about, yay height before they pop out the wall. Plus we put the other piece in there to kind of help with the heat. And, we've made some precautions to keep the insulation from heating off of those wires. If a person had a unlimited bank account, not that I couldn't afford different wire, but if you're in this industry, a lot of times you just have stuff laying around, so why not salvage it? So I went with mainly like a THHN wire is what the insulation on this stuff is called in particular. This is what they would call a SO cord. This could also be used. We use this stuff to make extension cords and stuff on job sites. Very durable. Actually MSHA approved. They use it in mining. So this stuff is very durable as well. I'd have to look up the insulation factors, of course, in the book for both. But you guys could actually do that. I have a past video where I show that stuff in the Uglies book, which I highly recommend. If you're getting into wiring, it's about a $10, $12, maybe $15 investment. You can even pick them up at Home Depot. It's called the Uglies book. It's the electrician's reference for AC voltage, AC amperage, and things like that, which that will be down below once we get into the actual AC voltage part of things. That's going to go on a wall here beside the water heater. But all of this is just low volt DC voltage stuff. Not going to create a whole lot of heat. I'm more concerned about the actual exterior color of the van. Being a darker colored van, of course, it's going to get hotter in a place, say, like Arizona, when you're in a, triple digit temperature place with blazing suns down south. So always keep heat in mind, whether it's ambient temperature or temperatures that you're creating with the amperage that you're trying to run through a wire. That dictates the wire size, guys. So that's why we always want to go bigger on a wire size. Just because it's rated for, say, 30 amps and we want to run 25 amps of power through it, is it capable? Yes. But capable maybe in that wall where we're going to have extra ambient heat? Possibly not. So we want to go up to a bigger wire size than, say, a number 10. We might want to go to a number 8 on something like that. So safety first. It might cost you a few extra bucks to increase a wire size here and there. It's never a bad idea anyway when you're running with DC voltages, because DC voltage are more prone to voltage drop. So if you're running any kind of length of wire, I think it's like over 5 feet, you're going to start seeing some voltage drops. So how to prevent voltage drops is, once again, go up on the wire size. So if you require a number 12 in your fuse panel to run something, say, you're running, rated on the AC chart here, once again, might be, let's see, number 12 is rated for 20 amps with THHN in particular, and you're running, something 15 amps. Well, that's great. Once again, we may want to run a number 10 if it's 15 feet from the front of the van to the back of the van and it's DC voltage. We may want to compensate for some of that. And there is a website. You could look that up if I had. Name of it's on the tip of my tongue. If you're in desperate needs, leave it down and comment. If you're in the middle of this stuff, I'll try to come up with that information and answer your questions later. But it's a chart that'll actually allow you to figure out DC voltage drops and all that stuff within the website makes it super easy for somebody who doesn't want to get into all of the mathematical figures and such. So AC voltage I definitely work with 95% of the time. So that's why I can just rattle these numbers off the top of my head without looking in the books and know what they're rated for. But DC voltage, as I said, you always want to increase the wire size for voltage drop and things like that anyway. So bigger's better always when you're dealing with DC voltage. That's why we run in AC voltage on the power lines and things like that. Miles and miles and miles where we run wires. So we couldn't run DC voltage because it'd just be too much of a voltage drop. And we'd have to use, wires that are the size of your body. And the weight would just be, unrealistic to be able to throw that stuff up on power poles to even make it work. So hats off to AC voltage. It definitely has changed our lives in many, many ways. AC current basically is just flashes of electricity, to make it simplify. Alternating current, that's what it means. If you've ever seen 60 hertz written on the back of an appliance or something, that means there's 60 flashes per second. That's what that means. So that's an alternating current. If you bring a wire off of a battery, there's no flashing. It's just constant voltage. So they call it direct current. So this is just a direct current wire right off of the battery, and there's no flashing. So there's no alternating current situation there. So that's where you come into an inverter, where you need to take your 12 volts and bump it up to 120 volts for an example. So I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up to speed, let you know what we did behind the wall. We're going to start putting in the components, and we'll bring you guys up to speed at that point. This might be a part 2 depending on where we get on this video. I may go ahead and post it, and we'll get into the other stuff once I get the other wall fabricated with the components and stuff that we're going to put it onto this wall here that I mentioned with the 2x2s, and get that stuff and get it starting to land all this mess of wires. So don't let this stuff intimidate you guys. You do one, you do the next exactly the same. They're all the same. You just need to figure out what fuse you're going to take it to and what wire size you need to use. So those are the main hazards with fires, is using too small of a wire and the insulation on the particular wire. So all those things just need to be figured out with the amperages that you're running through the wire. Higher amperage, bigger wire. So like I said, I don't know if this will be part 2 or part 3, but if it is, we'll catch you up on part 3 with terminations and stuff once we get this stuff built in. I know it's been a little while since we did a video. Like I said, we've had some weather issues that I've been fighting and doctor's appointments and stuff, so I apologize for that stuff, but there's life, unfortunately. Things just happen, and I want to thank everybody. We're almost up to 300 subscribers also, so I appreciate everybody's support, and we will see you when we see you. Peace. All right, we're going to finish this one up as a part 2, it looks like, guys. Sun's going down, these winter days, you guys know how it is. If you're, not in the center of the earth, where I'm up here in the northern hemisphere and even north in the States. So we only get so much daylight in a day. I'm going to be out here working in the dark, but it's not going to film worth a crap, of course, but we got the wall up today. I got some screws in that bad boy, so look how much it brightened things up. We need to get these doors hung, but want to get through this electrical stuff first. But as a comparison, here's the other side. We still need to get the wall up. You can see how much more it brightens things up. And the cabinet doors are on this side. I'm debating if I'm going to finish off that bottom back over here with this same white stuff. It's just going to add weight. So I think I'm probably just going to leave the bottom unfinished. I did cut some of this to fit right up in there, so I have it on hand. So we'll kind of play that by ear. I did maybe want to put some lights up in there. So I did kind of want to put some covering up in there, but you know, it's probably an extra 20 pounds or something. 10 pounds for each side, so you really just need to start watching weight when you're getting into the finish. You know, our ceiling is looking pretty good. We just need to get our doors on that other side, but you can see just the amazing transformation just by putting up that wall, how much it just lightened everything up. So we need to get a little piece of that same board in that corner there, the opposite side of the washer and dryer, where we've got the dryer hung there. There's our wash machine, and then our refrigerator's up there behind the captain's seat, and we've got our sink over here, a bunch of items up there, of course, because everything's under construction. But our sink is over there on the drinker side. Our microwave is up above, and our television right there is on a swivel, so we can swing that out. Everything is coming together. It's this stuff just excites me really big time when you start to see this finish work come in and you really see it coming together. So we're gonna get this whole mess of wires tied in and get everything dialed in, and you know, kind of go over what I did and why I did, like I said. But that'll be on the next video, so I'll probably, you know, if you're this far into part 2, you're kind of at the end of part 2, and a lot of people that are questioning things are probably definitely going to want to see part 3. So probably a little irritating suffering through 1 and 2 with not really learning that much on the electrical stuff, besides a couple few little tricks of the trade. But just wanted to give you guys an update before the sun goes down. And you know, I've got probably another hour of the sun being up. I'm going to close this thing up and get a space heater going in here. And going to be a long night for me, so we'll probably get you guys another video up here by the end of the week, hopefully. And I'm just going to say goodbye to all this 12-volt stuff. We'll get started on the 120-volt panel, putting that stuff in probably next week. And then I've got a few, wires here to reroute what I'm going to decide to do with some stuff hanging out the walls to get this side closed in. And it's going to be really bright and white and light woods throughout. It's going to be awesome. So till next time, this is Van Life Biker Show. And share it on other platforms if you guys don't mind. And I sure appreciate you guys watching. God bless. Late. Peace.